Hey everyone, my name is Monroe Mann, formerly Captain Monroe Mann in the U.S. Army. And while in Iraq, I was a first lieutenant. And I deployed in 2005, and through popular demand from a couple of people, but most recently a particular subscriber to my channel, I decided to start creating these slideshows. So today we're going to be learning about the Tigris River, and I got a bunch of photos from Iraq, from the Tigris, and I'm going to share some of those with you. By the way, please like, subscribe, and click the bell. And you can read more about me at monroeman.com, monroemanlaw.com, and come and join us at breakdiving.io. It's what social media should have always been. I think you'll find it very interesting. So this is one of the most memorable photos for me, looking out over the Tigris River, because it was right there on the side of the bank. And for security reasons, I throughout most of these presentations, I'm not going to actually share particularly what city I was in, because I don't know what operations are going out there now, and I want to make sure that nothing I say jeopardizes anyone who's working in the Iraqi army over there, or maybe we still have U.S. military there. So anyway, here's the Tigris River, and at many different times I was working on or at the different palaces that Saddam Hussein used to live in. And the palaces are very interesting. I'll show some photos later because they're so beautiful on the outside, but on the inside they're very, very poorly constructed. And so seems to be more like a show for the media and for the people of Iraq at the time, rather than an actual evidence of his beautiful, beautiful architecture. It's gorgeous, I'll give you that. And it definitely is from the outside, but sometimes when you go inside, you see it's a little bit more flimsy. But this is down near the banks off of one of the palaces where I was helping to train the Iraqi army. And on our breaks, I would often come down here when I was stationed at this particular area. I wasn't actually living at this palace. I was living about 10 minutes away on a forward operating base. It actually was oh gosh, what was the name of it? I'll have to come back to it. It wasn't a forward operating base because it was really small. It was much smaller than a forward operating base. And then every day I'd go onto my commute to work. We'd all get in the Humvees and we'd drive 10 minutes on the roads in a full combat patrol, prepared for anything, to come here to where the Iraqi army was stationed. And anyway, it's very beautiful. It was very calming to come out here. And obviously every time you're coming out, and you're always in the open here and stuff, always looking out and scanning across, because you never know if there's somebody out there. Fortunately, nobody ever fired on me directly with rifle fire, and I'm grateful for that. And so that's good. There's a car that was beeping in the background. Lost my concentration for a second. So I just wanted to share you a little bit about what the Tigris is, and where is it, and where is Iraq, and all that. So this is Iraq. This is down at the Persian Gulf, and you can see the Tigris, which is right here. It empties into the Persian Gulf, and so does the Euphrates. But let me start up at the top. You'll see at the top that there's Turkey. On the top left there in Turkey. Turkey is where both the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers both start. And they come down and they both go through Syria. It doesn't look like it, but the Tigris comes through Syria too. And the Euphrates definitely goes through Syria, a large portion of the middle of it. And they both come down through and into Iraq. And when they join together at the bottom, right here at that single river, that's actually called the Shat al-Arab, and that is what actually pours into the Persian Gulf. The whole river is about 1,100 miles. And just a shout out to BibleStudy.org. I found this map on their website through a Google search. It was the best one, so thank you for letting me use this for educational purposes. So you can kind of see where these photos were taken along here. And you can see Baghdad is right here, which is the capital. Here is another photo. Again, this is at the palace grounds too, and a lot of the palace grounds were turned into either American headquarters I should say joint headquarters too, because there were other militaries there helping us as well. And if you don't know, there's a different terms for this. Sometimes it's concertina wire, sometimes it's razor wire, and it depends precisely on what the types of barbs are. I'm not sure if this is actually concertina. This may be, I forget all the terms. It's been a long time. But when you see this, never assume that it's actually a particular type until you look closely at the barbs that are on there. But this was obviously put there to prevent anybody from coming onto the grounds from the river. And there were always outposts looking down upon the river, making sure that nobody was crossing over in boats or swimming or sending any bombs or whatever, and certainly scanning over here this period all at the same time to make sure there was nobody there setting up sniper fire over in the background over the actual river. If you look at my how did I go back? I shouldn't be going back. I was a first lieutenant at the time. I became a captain after I got back from Iraq. You can see we have a place here to put our pens and things. Most people had a pen right here. And you can see in the next to my right arm, there is a pouch where I kept all of my magazines for my M16. Down at my right foot, you can see the magazine pouch for my pistol, and that's a Sig Sauer pistol, in case you didn't know. I got that pistol when I got assigned to the MIT training team, helping to train the Iraqi army on how to run intelligence operations and to an extent to help with interrogation stuff and helping with their general soldier training and things like that. And I got my backpack on. That thing that's hanging down in front of my groin, that's part of our body armor. So the whole thing I'm wearing is body armor. It's like a vest. And there's a groin protector there on the front. I've never understood why they didn't have one on the back, so that when you're sitting down in the Humvees, the blast from a potential IED could potentially protect your rear end and your groin, but they put it more on the front. And you can see hanging off of my neck, on the right side of my neck, the left side of the photo, there's something that looks like a boomerang. That thing folds up and connects to the neck portion of the body armor. And that also protects my neck in case I would get fired upon or in case of a blast. Okay. So I'm showing this photo again. It looks like it's the same photo, but it's not. But here you can see the rainbow patch a little bit more, and I shared that because I was part of the 42nd Rainbow Division of the New York Army National Guard. That's where I originally got deployed from and with, and while I was in Iraq, I then got attached to various other units to help them with training the Iraqi army, and then at the end I got detached from those units, reattached to the 42nd ID, and then came back to the USA. You can see my trusty pen is there, and you can see I have my radio that's sticking up. That's that little black thing that is sticking up, and that made sure that we can keep in touch with everyone on our team throughout the day. Here's the Tigris River from palace grounds, and you can see how beautiful these palaces look. I will not deny that the architecture is gorgeous. And I have a photo later, right near those steps, the Iraqi army, one of their bands played. I have a great video of that. I'm hoping to post that up one day in the future. I actually have about 100 hours of footage from my time in Iraq. And I was originally going to turn it into a full-length documentary, but it became very overwhelming. My Apple computer got out of date. I got busy with work, and I haven't gotten back into it. I also realized there was so much footage, there was going to be a gargantuan task to turn it into 1 hour-and-a-half documentary. So I decided now I think I'm going to eventually dig up that footage and start putting them up on as videos here. By the way, you can see some of the footage that I did start to turn into that documentary on my YouTube channel. There are about 3 or 4 videos that are of various experiences in Iraq. But you can see the Tigris in the background there. And all of this is the palace ground. So if you look, you can see actually in the way background, in the middle right, there is a guard tower. So if you climb up into there, you can then, that's where there would be various soldiers keeping an eye on, whether it's Iraqi or American or whomever, looking out, basically allies, the good guys, looking out over the Tigris and the area beyond it to make sure that no one was trying to get onto the grounds. And yes, that is a either volleyball court or a badminton court. It's not really tennis because the net is a little bit higher than... and I don't even think there was a net there. I'm trying to think if there's a net there or if it's just a string basically going over it. And that was a hallmark of a lot of the things in Iraq. Some of the things weren't completely perfect. They were just... it's kind of like in sometimes in New York City, you'll find public basketball courts, and none of them have any basketball nets. So that was kind of the situation here with some of the sports equipment. Here's one of my fellow soldiers, and I'm for security reasons again. I don't know what a lot of these guys are doing. Got my alarm going off. For security reasons, I want to make sure that they're not compromised. I don't know what jobs they're doing right now. So again, taking a break here, looking off into there, we could often find fish. When you get down close like this, that was probably about 4 feet above the river, and it was a lot of fun to see fish there. And sometimes we would come down and throw in some bread and stuff like that and see if we could get them to eat from us. And it was, again, these little things are some of the things that help keep you sane, that help remind you that you're not not remind you that you're not in a war zone, because you are in a war zone. Help remind you that there's more to life than just being in this dangerous, stressful situation. Here's one of my fellow Iraqi soldiers, and don't ask why I don't have my body armor on out there. We did that a lot sometimes, and we kind of trusted what the Iraqi soldiers were doing. When they were wearing their body armor, we would wear it. When they didn't, we didn't. And that was often as a show of respect. It may not have been the smartest thing to do, but when we're trying to train them, we're trying to engender trust. And even though right now, literally, we are out in the middle of the Iraqi desert and anybody could shoot at us. And so it was very dangerous, but in terms of what our mission was, not necessarily foolish, because we had to do sometimes things that were dangerous in order to accomplish our mission. I say badass soldiers there for a reason. It's kind of a joke because when you see the next slide. So this is the photo that we took to make us look like tough guys. And you can see I'm looking all tough and serious face and serious soldier pose. But this was actually the relationship we often had with our fellow Iraqi soldiers. And they like to hold our hands. Men hold their hands, hold each other's hands in Iraq. It's not a sign of anything awkward. That's part of their culture. And so I was often holding hands with some of my fellow Iraqi soldier counterparts. And so I say we were badass friends. Here's another picture overlooking the Tigris. Really beautiful. It's gorgeous, gorgeous there. And of course the concertina / razor wire / barbed wire doesn't, kind of makes it look a little bit less beautiful. But if you look beyond that, it's really quite a beautiful country. And I again, looking at these slides, it just reminds me how much I loved being in Iraq. And it sounds crazy, but that year was one of the best years of my life. And ever since I came back, and a lot of people from combat zones will tell you this, their life back home is not as exciting as their adventures overseas in a combat zone. Here's another photo. As you can see, there are little towns over there across the river. And again, 90% of the people, 95, 99% of the people are friendly and loved us there. The media often portrayed that everyone wanted us out. No, the people who wanted us out were the bad guys. Everyone else was gracious that we were there, and I often had to unfortunately turn down requests from many Iraqis to take them back to the United States because they wanted to be a part of what we were, and they really loved America and American culture. And so I'm proud of what I did over there, and not for a moment did I feel like I was unwelcome, except when rockets and mortars came in, and we saw all the intelligence reports of people getting hurt really badly. Maybe that's a clue that some people didn't want us there. Again, here's another picture. You can see the wire there, but very pretty. It's so interesting that it's such desert, and yet you see this beauty right near the Tigris. It's so green, but then immediately it all turns into desert very, very quickly. Here's another picture. You can see there's a bridge with for auto traffic in the background. So it is a developed country. It's not completely desert with nothing. It's, for a lot of you that haven't been there, which is probably most of you, you'll be surprised with how modern it is. These photos were actually taken during combat lifesaver training, and we all had to draw blood from a lot of different people. There was blood splattering everywhere from people getting the wrong veins and things like that. It was actually very funny. Again, I have videos of this. I can't wait to, I hope, share this with all of you guys. And again, for security reasons, this is, I don't know where this bridge is. I technically do, but not going to share that here because don't want it to help anybody that's trying to hurt my friends in Iraq. So anyway, that is the end of today's educational journey about Iraq. The 4 steps to happiness. Please click like, please share a comment, please subscribe, and please share this video. And if you click the bell, you'll get notifications every time I put another awesome video. Some are about Iraq, some are about martial arts, some are comedy, some music, all good. So thank you so much, and I salute you all. And let's see if I can stop this recording.